Mustafa Ali requests his release from WWE. The WWE 2K22 cover has been leaked. Roman Reigns breaks an all-time record and a whole lot more. Welcome to DMK Wrestling News with me, Darkman Kpakpo. Today, yeah, we're looking at wrestling news. I've started this thing. Hope this goes well. Let's get it. So in our first story, yes, Mustafa Ali has requested his WWE release. Now this happened yesterday in the afternoon when he took to Twitter to post a short video saying that he had requested his release from the WWE. And it's not too shocking, but I mean at the same time it is. Ali hasn't been on TV in about 2 months or so. It's been quite a while. The last time we saw him, I believe, was in that segment with Ricochet and I believe Aaliyah. And more details have emerged from Sean Rossap of Fightful.com. He has said that there was an altercation or a disagreement between Vince McMahon and Mustafa Ali about a few months ago, and since then we haven't really seen him. And the speculation is that he had gone on paternity leave since his wife had just given birth, but it would seem as though he asked for only 1 day off and it turned into this extended period of time. Adil Alam is going to kill it wherever he goes, and we'll just wait and see how as the story unfolds. Now moving on, it does look like the WWE 22 cover has been leaked, and Rey Mysterio, by all indications, we saw 2 different versions of the cover art, one for the deluxe version and one for the normal version. It does seem like Rey Mysterio is on the cover, and some other DLC details were released as well. It's kind of crazy. It hasn't been officially confirmed by 2K, but we will follow this. There was some Rey Mysterio slander yesterday, which I didn't quite understand. Like, it was kind of what happened with Eddie Guerrero a few months ago when people said he wasn't a top tier wrestler, and you know, that sparked a whole lot of backlash. The wrestling community just came together as one and was like, hey, we don't agree with what you're saying. And you know, it was kind of a similar situation. Rey Mysterio definitely is one of the greatest, especially in luchador culture. So yeah, this is amazing that he's actually getting the opportunity to be the cover athlete on WWE 2K22, which I'm sure is in shambles because so many wrestlers have been released in the last couple of months. WWE has released a collective of around 80 something wrestlers in the last calendar year. It's insane. But yeah, I don't know what's going on in Stamford, Connecticut. But moving on to our next story. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the Universal Champion, the head of the table, has broken Brock Lesnar's record of 503 days as of yesterday. Well, today is 505 days. He is now the longest reigning Universal Champion of all time. Roman Reigns, of course, winning the title at Payback all the way in 2020, a week after he returned from being on the sideline for about 4 months because of COVID-related issues, of course, him being immunocompromised and whatnot. The tribal chief should probably have another 2 years under his belt. We don't know what's going to happen, of course, because he's facing Seth Rollins at the Royal Rumble. More Royal Rumble stories will be coming in the next few days, so do subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of that. But it is possible in my head that he could drop the belt to Seth Rollins, that hey, at least I held the title longer than Brock did, even if it was by a week or 2. And now I can challenge Brock and take his title, whilst Big E and Seth Rollins could possibly have a match on their own at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. Of course, we have seen this match before last week on Raw, and it was a banger, so we'll see how it goes. But either way, the Tribal Chief, the Universal Champion, the head of the table, is now the longest reigning champion in WWE, longest reigning Universal Champion in WWE history. Moving on, let's talk about some AEW related news. And we are talking about Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, the current AEW Women's Champion, where she has done an interview with Inside the Ropes. The article is on Fightful.com. I will leave a link in the description so you can check the full article out. But she did speak about her disinterest in WWE, and we're going to read a brief snippet of it. And she's quoted as saying, "They definitely expressed interest, that's WWE. Unfortunately, I got to pick and choose how I say this. But I feel like you can't trust anything with that company who has with AEW. I have never been promised anything that didn't follow through. So something like that, unfortunately, it's sad that it comes down to that it makes a company not really desirable, because you can't trust anything they say. I know business is business and I understand totally what it's like, but as a wrestler, business is business as well." And she also spoke about Tony Storm and everything that's been going on. And I really wouldn't blame Britt Baker for, you know, taking the stance. I do think that she did wrestle in NXT a couple of times. I don't know if this is true. I have seen pictures, but it would seem as though she did wrestle in NXT at one point. So it does make sense that she is saying this, and of course the recent releases have further justified it. Someone just thinks you don't have enough potential to be a main event caliber star, and you're out the window. So either that or creative will have no plans for you. It can be a mess, but it is what it is, and the doctor has expressed her emotions, I guess, about everything that's going on. Now moving on. Now this is some NXT related news, but the Dusty Rhodes Classic tournament, which happens every year in honor of Dusty Rhodes, is starting on NXT this Tuesday. The brackets have been released and we have them right here. So we have Malik Blade and Idris Enofe taking on Legado del Fantasma. We have MSK going up against Jacket Time, Ikemenjiro, and Kushida. We also have the team of Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen going up against the Creed brothers of the Diamond Mine. And then we have the Grizzled Young Veterans going up against Andre Chase and Bodie Hayward. So it's going to be interesting, I guess. You know, the structuring of NXT has been altered so much, especially in the last few weeks, and especially since Triple H lost creative control. I don't know where it's going to lead. I don't know what's going to happen, but if you do, if you are interested, I guess you can go and check out the Dusty Classic. It starts this Tuesday on NXT 8/7 Central in this part of the world. I guess it's at 1 a.m. I guess we'll move on. And Moose has been talking about Roman Reigns. Now Moose is the current Impact World Heavyweight Champion. Now there has been some talk of him possibly showing up in the Royal Rumble as one of the WWE's ways of breaking the forbidden door when it comes to the men's Royal Rumble. Of course, they have done that with Mickie James, allowing her to be in this Royal Rumble match. Of course, she is the Impact Knockout Women's Champion and she has some stuff to do with NWA as well. But he does have an article that he did with Sportskeeda, an interview I should say, with Sportskeeda, which I will also leave a link to in the description. So he does say, I'd rather have my Forbidden Door match with Roman Reigns because at the end of the day, I think it will bring more eyes to the product, and I'm a company guy. I pride myself over being the biggest company guy, doing whatever would get the biggest eyes on the company, and I think the Forbidden Door match with Roman Reigns would get way more eyes on the company than me holding the title for 4 years or whatever. And it would be very interesting to see a match like that. Moose had a promo just around Survivor Series time where he does name drop Roman Reigns or his nickname Tribal Chief or something of the sort. It's such a good promo. You should search it out on YouTube when you get the chance. Moose, of course, is one of the best wrestlers that Impact has. There's a reason he's the World Heavyweight Champion, and definitely a match with Roman Reigns really would sell tickets, and I think it would be really good. And finally, we have a preview of events that may go down on tonight's Raw episode. Of course, I will do pros and cons for Raw tomorrow. Go check it out as soon as it comes out. Subscribe to the channel and enable your notification bell so as soon as I drop the video, you can see it. But a few things are going to be happening on the show. Apparently, Becky Lynch will be making an appearance. She will be reacting to Doudrop winning that triple threat match last week to become #1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. I would expect some shenanigans with Bianca Belair, considering that she had the match won until Becky Lynch interfered. Then we have a Bobby Lashley promo where he addresses the events of last week with Brock Lesnar. We have fallouts from the Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley saga from last week where Nikki just turned on Rhea. Also, the question has been posed as to what next for RK Bro. I'm really hoping that Riddle doesn't turn heel today. I'm hoping Randy Orton doesn't have his 946th heel turn in like the last 2 years. But either way, it should be an interesting episode of Raw. That's going to be it for this episode of Wrestling News with me, Darkman Kwakpo. Put your comments down below, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys in another video. See me for pros and cons tomorrow of Raw. Subscribe to this channel, subscribe to the main channel. I'll see you guys. Bye.